Hello, welcome to Respite for All. I'm so excited you're here. If you'd like to see your church provide a cutting-edge ministry to the community that reaches all aspects of families living with dementia, you're in the right place. Hi, my name is Daphne Johnston, founder and CEO of the Respite for All Foundation. You may also know me as the author of Reclaiming Joy Together. If you're not familiar with the Respite for All Foundation, let me tell you a little bit about who we are. Respite for All grew out of a local respite ministry established in 2012 at First United Methodist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. At that time, our senior pastor, Dr. Lawson Bryan, and the congregation were praying for a way that our church could provide a response to a growing community issue, which was support needed for those living with dementia, their care partners, and their families. With my background in gerontology and over 15 years of work as an executive director and senior living administration, I knew there were different options besides medical long-term care facilities. There were a few dementia ministries operating in the Southeast, and I visited all of them. Congregational dementia care has been around for years, but we wanted something different. We focused on building a no-label environment where everyone had purpose. We blurred the line between trained volunteers and those we were serving. We created an engaging atmosphere for everyone so those living with memory issues could still find meaning in their day-to-day lives. The local program has logged over 100,000 hours of volunteer time with just 2 employees in the past 10 years. It's been an incredible ride. Following the success of the local program, I had a vision of establishing a national organization that can inspire and train faith communities of any denomination based on our volunteer model. Together, Dr. Bryan and I realized that a faith-based, volunteer-driven, social model of support could change the culture of how we live among our friends with Alzheimer's and dementia. We developed the Respite for All model as a way of responding to dementia that brings fresh resources and renewed hope, a truly holistic approach unlike anything out there. Let me just say, when you see something happen that's changing the lives of your friends, your volunteers, and your community, this is not something you want to keep to yourself. Instead, that original ministry served as the inspiration for spreading this model through the Respite for All Foundation. Now, here we are, today, 25 different communities, over 1,500 trained, active volunteers, engaging with over 1,200 people living with dementia. And that also means 1,200 care partners. In fact, I'm proud to share that Respite for All is an award-winning program. We've been recognized by the Alzheimer's Foundation of America as the winner of the Ann and Irving Brodsky Innovation Grant. We also have been recognized by the National Alzheimer's and Dementia Center as a leading volunteer model to be shared through their platform. And the original Respite Ministry was even recognized by Kiplinger Magazine as a quality alternative that helps people live in their homes longer. How cool is that? It may shock you to hear that over 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's in the United States. And by 2050, that number is projected to be more than doubled. I'm 45 now, and in 30 years when I'm 75, there's going to be roughly 15 million people diagnosed each year. New systems need to be implemented to provide better quality of life while living with dementia. They need to be implemented right now. It may also shock you to hear that until the development of the Respite for All Foundation, there was no national organization to serve the mental, physical, and spiritual needs of both the care partner and the person diagnosed with the disease, especially not one that churches could replicate. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we've got 25 communities and counting, serving over 1,000 people living with Alzheimer's and dementia, thousands of care partners, and honestly, there's no telling how many family members, friends, and community members have been touched by the love that's shared in these communities. The Respite for All Foundation's mission is to inspire, incubate, and help launch new programs all over the country. We don't care if you're in a tiny town or if you're in a big city. There is a need for one of these respite communities on every corner. We want to be able to provide dementia support for those whose lives have been completely disrupted by an out-of-the-blue diagnosis. where do they turn? When loved ones lose their autonomy, their driver's license, their responsibilities, where do they find an anchor? Where do they go to restore meaning and purpose, to make new friends, to enjoy social interaction? How can they piece back together the parts of their lives that still bring joy? That's what this training represents. It's a new way forward. If you've ever been touched by Alzheimer's or dementia, this program can help your church become a proven response to the support needed, one that brings community, friendship, and renewal. Now, let's talk a little bit about what this program includes. When you purchase the Respite for All roadmap, you will receive 6 implementation modules offering you all the tools, strategies, and resources needed to create a community that offers friendship, education, growth, and most importantly, hope. A complete step-by-step launch plan showing you how to launch and operate a Respite for All community. Easy marketing strategies, business planning guidance, and successful programming ideas so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. In Module 1, How to Start a Respite Community, you'll get an overview of the call to spread the Respite for All model nationwide. You'll discover the theory of respite and how it serves 3 groups: participants, care partners, and volunteers. You will also learn how local respite ministries are sustainable, how to successfully recruit volunteers, and why it's a cost-effective model, and the importance of a no-label environment. Module 2A and 2B, Respite as a Community Asset and the Theology of Respite, feature Bishop Lawson Bryan explaining how, during his time as a senior pastor, his congregation began a respite ministry as a service to the community, following input from leaders in the city about issues they wanted to solve. He calls this asset-based community development, where the church is seen as an asset that can bring in unique capabilities to bear to help the community achieve something it needs. Churches have space, caring people who want to help, and a biblical theology that supports serving their neighbors. Faith communities of all different backgrounds can be united in addressing this major social need. This is also a style of ministry support that can be transferred to other civic organizations in the community with a large pool of dedicated volunteers and free space to operate. In Module 3, What to Look For in a Respite Director, we detail some key traits and components to look for in a respite director, including the kind of intangibles that won't appear on a resume. Next, we offer guidance on the timeline for hiring a director and advice on why churches should wait on having the right director in place before launching the ministry. Finally, you'll gain a clear understanding of the responsibilities a director will need to oversee or manage, while giving tips on getting influential people on board. In Module 4, the Business of Respite details how to build a financially healthy ministry inside the church. We cover why insurance and liability aren't large hurdles, why it's important to start with a small advisory team to stay agile in decision-making, when the time is right to establish a board, and why the majority of board members should come from the host church, but that it also should include community representatives. We break down potential annual revenue and discuss forming an LLC after the program has been running for a while, allowing for grant applications. Finally, we explain why offering scholarships is important and how respite can, at times, be a backdoor to new membership in your church community. Module number 5, Understanding Dementia Through the Lens of a Few Friends, features my mentor, Robin Dill, who established and directed Respite Ministry in 2005 in Lawrenceville, Georgia. The name of her program was Grace Arbor. She discusses dementia through the lens of several individual participants in her program. She describes different types of dementia and some of the qualities that are present in these diseases. She also highlights the qualities that our friends are still able to experience. Module number 6. This is our volunteer training, led by me. This session provides a wide array of information for directors to train and coach their own volunteer team. This includes volunteer expectations, communication guide, and use of language, both in how to talk to caregivers about the ministry and how to talk to participants hoping to get them involved. You'll see a typical day at Respite, what the daily schedule looks like, and you'll also hear from other brain health experts. In addition to that, we will also provide you with a 70-page guidebook, roadmap to a Respite for All community training manual, guidance for launching and operating a respite ministry, serving persons living with dementia and their caregivers, which coincides with each module offering action items and next steps, as well as downloadable forms and templates to help you create a successful activity program that will keep participants moving from start to finish. By the way, we're also going to throw in some extras for you, like exclusive access to the Respite for All Facebook group page. Tons of ideas there. We'll also include a free digital copy of my book, Reclaiming Joy Together, and webinar training scheduled throughout the year. You'll also receive an initial PowerPoint presentation to help you train your own volunteers, plus electronic files so that, again, you do not have to reinvent the wheel. I remember having to retype everything, and it's difficult. We want to give everything to you. So you're probably wondering how much this will cost. And I'm going to tell you that this training, the Respite for All Roadmap, is a one-time payment of $650. But the countless number of lives you will touch and change is 100% priceless. So if you're ready to get started, follow this link to purchase the program, gain instant access, and join the Respite for All movement today. Thank you.